there is literally millions of dollars stuck in Pulse Ramp right now, right? It hasn't even been able to be processed and relayed over to Pulsechain, and you already nearly owe me 50 grand. So thank you so much, Eric. You're the best.
Jesus Christ.
I
Jesus
will make
Christ.
bets with you any day.
All right. Well, I'll get you the next one.
Yeah. I will happily bet you again on something. Do you want to bet that it doesn't do 100x in 2 years? I'll bet
Yeah,
you
if you
100
want to, I'll
grand.
do it right now. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, well,
Golden handshake.
yeah. I mean, you already owe me 50 grand, so I'll bet you 100 grand that it doesn't 100x in 2 years.
Oh yeah, whatever.
That's it. Golden handshake, Eric. It's on.
Well, you're not seriously saying that I already owe you 50K though, are you?
Yeah, like you literally already owe me 50K. I'm not joking, Eric. I'm
That's
terribly
bullshit.
sorry to break it to you.
That is bullshit. Yeah.
The key strength here.
No, we already did a spaces earlier today where I covered sort of all those comments in depth. But if you want to ask me anything specific from that thread, I'm happy to answer.
No, I was just agreeing with your statement about the community being a real differentiator.
That is true.
I
It's
wasn't
perhaps the
able
single
to
most.
attend.
It's perhaps the single most important component of a chain is the community. I mean, what are private keys? What are hashes? They're irrelevant. The only thing that matters is community.
Pretty much, Eric. But I mean, to make a successful chain, you still need things like oracles, right? So I guess a community that's devoted to making a chain successful chooses the best oracle service available and then all participate by running nodes in it to make the chain successful. So
Yeah, sure.
I wasn't able to attend your space. Were you trying to FUD Pulsechain, were you?
No, I wasn't fighting Pulsechain. I was saying that I think that it's if the fees are high, it means that there's demand, and if you have a lot of demand for your EVM fork, that means that you're successful. So all the people that are freaking out about fees, they should be celebrating. I think that the whole situation is basically like people are misunderstanding what Ethereum technology is able to do. Ethereum technology doesn't provide you like automatically, like there's no world where Ethereum can both at the same time burn a tremendous amount of ETH or Pulse and at the same time have zero fees. Like they're the two sides of the same coin. If you are successful, if you have a lot of usage, there's going to be high fees, right? If you don't have a lot of demand, the fees are going to be low, but then you don't have any burn. So you can't, like, it feels like people in the Pulsechain community are expecting to be at both sides of the spectrum at the same time, which is like thermodynamically impossible. I think I would guess that the reason that people are assuming this is because they don't understand how Ethereum technology works. And I would assume that that's probably because of a special product wearing man giving you sort of misguided information about what Pulsechain can do. I mean, it's Ethereum technology at the end of the day. You're going to have to choose high fees, high burn, low fees, and then there's not a lot of burn. You can't have both. So, I mean, I think this is a time for celebration, and I think that people have the wrong expectations of what the technology is capable of. So, I mean, I want you guys to be happy. I think you guys should be super proud that you have a lot of usage for your chain. And instead, I'm hearing a lot of people complaining about that the fees are high. I mean, that's the goal. Get the fees high, and then the next step is build layer 2 solutions. But apparently, that's not on the agenda at the moment. So that's probably something that you're gonna have to fix. But I mean, the first step is good. You have a lot of demand. That's the excellent basis to build something upon.
I mean, layer 2 solutions come with a more established ecosystem, so I don't see it being a bad thing. But I personally, I've been bullish ever since the mempool started to get overloaded and people started to pay additional gas to have their transactions processed. I mean, we hit like 3,300 Gwei in under an hour. Like, that's mega bullish, and that's just our community when they were ratio trading. Like, that's not people bridging over or outside of our ecosystem. So I'm happy with people paying Pulse. And I think some people are unit biased, Eric, right? So when you're transacting on ETH and it's point something, and then they come over to Pulsechain and it's 1,000 Pulse, like, unit bias is a thing, but the price of Pulse is cheap still, and so is transacting.
Yeah, I saw something absolutely hilarious where one guy was like upset that he had to spend like 1,000 PLS because he's assuming, like all you guys are doing, that PLS is going to increase by 10,000 times in value. So if it does, then he's looking at like a loss of like thousands of dollars or something like that. But it's because people have told him that his PLS is going to increase in value by 10,000x. If that is your frame of reference, that your PLS, that if you're paying $1 in fees right now, and you're thinking that the price is gonna increase by 10,000x, yeah, then people are gonna be upset that they're spending $1 right now. So this is like when you overmarket something to such an extent that people have expectations of 10,000x, then yeah, even the fees are gonna seem high even when they're low. So that's just like over marketing biting you in the ass, basically. I just thought that was hilarious. That Richard Hart has to deal with this now. Like, he made such seriously high expectations on the value for PLS that people can't even pay low fees and be happy with it because they're expecting that it's going to be worth tens of thousands of dollars later.
I mean, all I hear is a bullish and positive Eric Walls. So
yeah, but I had a lot to drink tonight, so don't hold it against me.
Note to self: everybody try and get Eric Wall to drink regularly.
Yeah, I think that, Eric, you said two very important and key things there. A, that the
So
community
Eric kind of
should be proud.
surmised my point about how community is everything, and that the notion of utility in this space really becomes secondary in the community.
Corey, can you hear KG?
No, I can't. For some reason, he's the only. Is he speaking right now? Fuck, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I seriously did not know that, because every time KG speaks, I cannot hear him. I'm sorry.
Well, you could tell Corey I forgive him.
He said he forgives you.
KG, do you want to drop out and come back in? And I'll put you up as a speaker straight away. I did that with LV because I couldn't hear him, and now I can hear him.
Sure, I'll just finish the thought real quick, and I won't be long. So I think Eric said two very key things there, and one is, yes, a pride should be had, We just went through 2 years of absolute and utter annihilation from everybody else in the world trying to destroy this thing that we've been advocating for. But also, I do completely agree that most of, if not all, of the disappointment factors are coming from expectations, quote, in air quotes, expectations that were improperly set and that allowed people to think that it was going to be something that it's not. And so I think we should remain patient and sympathetic to those cases.
I mean, this is the thing that I've been trying to tell you guys. So I've been trying to tell you guys that you can't expect higher burn and lower fees at the same time. And people interpreted that as FUD, but I'm trying to set your expectations correctly so that you aren't disappointed when the thing launches, so that you allow yourself to be happy when you get the outcome that you want. And I didn't see a lot of people in your ecosystem that was sort of, maybe there are people that did, instruct people in the right way, but I didn't see that. So I'm not trying to bring down your mood. I'm just trying to prepare you for the reality.
Lucky,
J.
you're
Cole
a part
says,
of our ecosystem now.
Tonight I am. We'll see.
Yeah, Eric. I mean, you got interviewed by me. I mean, come on, your boy over here interviewed you. And then what happened was there was a website that literally actually took our interview and took my face out of the interview and literally just put your face, and they didn't even give me any accolades. I was kind of sad. I was very sad. Allcoin Daily liked it though, so I was a happy puppy.
Whoa, Fiat, you have your hand up.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say hi to Eric and say I agree with him that there's going to be cognitive dissonance about this, and there's a pretty famous clipping of me in the PulseX voice chat when the sacrifice was going on, explaining to people that a 10,000x on $1 billion kind of defies the law of large numbers. That would mean PulseX would be worth, I don't know, like more than the global GDP or something like that. There are plenty of people that get this stuff, Eric, and the interesting thing is there's going to be a very interesting investment opportunity here coming up as a result of that cognitive dissonance that I think we're going to see for a few people. Like to me, that smells like an opportunity. But I'm an investment professional, and you're just a guy that talks on, YouTube and Twitter now. But I guess that's how we're different.
I mean, even if the mempool fills up and it costs you, hundreds of thousands to transact, I still think an $8 transaction is a lot cheaper than an $80 to $800 transaction on Ethereum. So,
All right, for those folks who came up to speak and ask questions, please remember to raise your hands so we can go through one by one. I think, Corey, you had your hand, and then we have Crypto Mentor. Corey?
Just to be clear, though, Katie, a transaction right now on Ethereum is $4. On a swap, on Uniswap version 3 is $14.
yeah, but I mean, one meme coin, Pepe, skyrocketed transactions to $80. Like, that's a meme coin. NFTs haven't even started minting again on Ethereum, to be fair.
Yeah, but this is also Ethereum. So if you have a Pepe coin with equal popularity on Pulsechain, it's going to be the same situation. There's no other way around it. It's the same technology.
Eventually, 1.2 million excess supply does give you a little bit of leeway comparison to Ethereum, though.
Sorry, what gives you a bit of a leeway?
1.2 million extra supply with the starting price being 3 zeros and a 1.
Why would the supply change transaction fees?
Because if it's 100,000 pulse to transact, right, it's still cheaper. I mean, the network is not as congested yet. The mempool,
That's
right?
That's not how it works. Like you're suffering from like sort of basic unit bias. People are going to spend a specific amount of value, and usually that's measured in dollars. It doesn't matter how many units there are. They're going to spend, like if you think that Xen, for example, is worth $50, and you can get a Xen for mining an entire block in Pulsechain, you're going to spend $1. You're not going to care about how many units of pulse you have to spend. Like that's not. This is like one of the most primitive, basic misunderstandings in blockchain technology that people have. That they think that the units matters. It doesn't matter. It's how much the value of the thing that you're trying to get in a block that decides how much you spend.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So the Pepicars can come equally to Pulsechain as it can come to Ethereum. The thing that you have, though, going for you is that the community isn't as large yet. So you may have lower fees for some time.
Go, Corey. I've seen you open your mic.
No, it's okay. No, I just wanted to say, what's up to Eric. There's one thing that you said before that really resonated me, is that community is everything. And I think it's apparent here when there's 3,000 listeners that community is literally the calling card of this chain. I mean, you could have the most extensive and expansive and you can have the most technologically and innovative chain or technology, doesn't matter the industry, but if nobody uses it, it means nothing. So one thing I saw that in that tweet thread that you put is basically community is basically everything. And I think that you and I can both agree that this is probably one of the largest communities in this entire space, probably in the top 5 next to, I would say, Cardano, XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. So yeah, I just wanted to add on to that as well.
Sure.
Katie's laughing for some reason.
I'm on PulseX at the moment. I have some amount of PLS here. I'm gonna try to sell it for one of these assets that have been bridged in. So do you guys have any recommendation for me? Should I try to sell it for USDT, USDC? And I'm talking now about the bridged in assets, not these like dummy zero-backed, zero value assets. So should I sell it for WETH, DAI, USDC, USDT? Do you guys? I want to do like a test transaction, selling some PLS to see how much I get.
Right now, I wouldn't.
Yeah, look, Eric, the liquidity pool paired back to Pulse or wrapped Pulse really. With DAI, there's 4,377 wrapped DAI that have been brought over from Ethereum chain. So that's the size of the whole pool. That's the whole exit liquidity, 4,300 DAI. It's growing. Maybe a couple hundred every dollars worth of DAI every 5 minutes or so, but you'll just wreck yourself in slippage at the moment.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade. Somebody just traded out of Pulse and absolutely got wrecked because the liquidity wasn't there. Few issues with the bridging platform and getting some transactions over at the moment. It's got millions of dollars waiting for it to be moved over.
Let me see though. So if the sacrifice price was 0.0001, then I should spend, what is it, 10,000 PLS to get $1. So let me see if I sell. Okay, so right now, according to the liquidity pool on DAI, if I sell 10,000 PLS, I should get $1 if it was trading at sacrifice prices. But I'm only getting 0.7 DAI. So is my understanding correct that actually currently PLS is trading at the current prices is trading actually below?
Yes,
It's trading,
it went below.
It's trading below.
was above, and somebody just got wrecked and scamwigged themselves down with a shit ton of slippage and put it below.
But wait, so if I buy PLS with DAI, then I can buy PLS below the sacrifice price.
Yes.
But that depends on me being able to bridge in DAI, though, and that's currently like not as. From my understanding, it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Right. Okay, and that's because they're doing it manually, I would assume, in the back, like behind the scenes, basically.
Kind of assumed, yeah. I mean, there's like 7 nodes that are in the Pulsechain bridge running the transactions, but they are having some issues. Hours you'll be waiting.
But in that case, like Katie, I'm not gonna be. Yeah, I'm not gonna be mean towards you, but I saw that you tweeted at me. No, you tweeted at me. I saw that tweet. You said that PLS was up 2.5x, right? So then it has to go to basically 25x in order for you to win, and now it's down instead, right?
Totally fine, Eric. I have no problem with somebody. Well, actually, I have a problem with somebody getting wrecked just then, right? So that sucks for them. I sat in here asking people not to do those things, and they did it. So I feel really sorry for that person, but I don't feel sorry for you because you will owe me 50 grand soon. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, it's a very bad thing for you if the starting price was 2.5x higher, because then you're gonna need a 10x on top of that, which means that you're gonna need a 25 fucking x from here.
Yeah, but you're sitting with a $20,000 liquidity pool, Eric. Like, it really doesn't take much buy pressure in a $20,000 liquidity pool to put it back where it was, right? So somebody
Katie, I can just buy PLS right here.
Buy it then and push the price up.
Okay. What's your bet exactly? It's 50K USD
on a 10x
on a 10x on Pulse.
3 months on Pulse, yeah.
And you win if at any point it does this?
Up to 23 months.
Oh, it's at the end of 23 months.
Oh no, in between 23 months, 10x.
Okay.
I set it to 23 months because I was because I have a bet with Hvid for the same amount, and I just want to I want both of the bets to expire at the same time. I don't want to have to keep track of multiple different deadlines. I just want to collect. I just want to collect the whole $100,000 from you 2 years from now. We can do like a double date, because I'm already doing a dinner with Hvid.
Yeah, that was not in my deal. Sorry.
No, you don't want to. You don't want to be there. You don't want to go for the. No.
I will pass on that one, Eric.
Anyway, moving on. I think we have a hand up with Crypto Mentor. If you can ask your question.
Yeah, I was just enjoying that. Katie, first of all, congratulations. Great space. It's been great to listen to everybody. Congratulations even more on collecting Eric's money as soon as that opens up and comes through. But yeah, just a simple question. I've been getting blasted pretty much since that tweet went out that the bridge opened up, and I'm just telling everyone sit on their hands because they're just getting anxious and trying to make moves, and some, I would assume would end up moving too quick. I'm really glad that Katie, you keep touching on it. Corey touched on it. And that Richard's now talking about it. I think more and more people for the next day to 2 days are really going to have to be making it abundantly, nauseatingly clear that people need to, check contract addresses and just make sure that they're not accidentally selling for paper napkins, copies of stables, obviously. But my question may be a little, I don't know. It might be a little simple for some, but I've been getting a lot of questions. I'm trying to onboard people who are not, they never sacrificed, and they're excited to invest in the ecosystem, and obviously they're catching on to a lot of the hype going on social. And so my question is really just the best route right now for outside money to come into Pulsechain. Obviously, I know people who sacrificed. We already have some Pulse, and so we could bring in fiat or stables. Fiat's like a curse word in here, but you could bring in stables, and we have gas money in our wallets already, right? So for new money, is there any sort of faucet so they have some Pulse in their wallet, for gas, or are they going to end up swapping on ETH for wrapped Pulse and kind of bridging that back over? So if you could touch on that, anybody in here, just best route to go about that.
So there's three things that you kind of touched on. The first one, if you are bridging through Pulse Ramp with any form of tokens, right, be so careful because it's so volatile in them pools right now because they're so thin, and it's a V2, right? So volatility goes both ways, downside and up, just like Eric was saying, right? It's both sides. So anybody bridging in stuff right now, there's not much liquidity.
Katie, is Pulse Ramp the same thing as the bridge that Richard just tweeted out?
That's the Pulsechain bridge.
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same thing.
Yeah. So people are waiting hours for transactions. So there's not going to be a bunch of liquidity. If you go trading, right, if you did happen to get assets through the bridge, don't go trading in thin ass liquidity pools because you are going to get wrecked, right? Wait for people that are providing liquidity to have theirs come over the bridge. As for people that don't have Pulse, freepulse.io, they're not open to the public yet. They haven't launched, but that's Victor. He's one of Richard Hart's front end devs. It's his bags that he's putting up for people. So it's a faucet where you can go and claim PLS for free. You just have to follow him and wait for freepulse.io to be live. The other alternative option is PortalX, which is my team, right? So it's a routing protocol. So you pay gas on whatever token that you are, on whatever chain you are leaving from. So we support 63 different blockchains. Multi-chain are integrating right now. They're one of our partners, and we will be integrating PulseRamp too. So 63 chains, you choose your token, you choose your source network that you're leaving, you choose your target chain, Pulsechain, right? And you choose your target token. You don't need PLS to transact, right? It's a routing protocol. You pay the gas fee in the chain that you're transacting on. So that's another alternative option for people, but that will be a couple of weeks away because there's several things that need to be integrated, right? Because we aggregate things, right? So it's no protocol owned liquidity in PortalX. So we need multi-chain, we need PulseRamp, we need Rubik, et cetera. So yeah, there's other options coming. It's just not immediate. PulseRamp is the only immediate thing.
Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Were you joking before when you said you want to bet me more money that it's gonna hit 100x from here?
Yes, I would bet you 100x, but it would have to be at a set price, not at a price at an hour, because these pools are so volatile. And now you're behind your computer and told me that you are. You can go play with the token and drop the crap out of a price. So it would have to be at an X price.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, do you think that the Pulse price is gonna reach 100x up from the sacrifice price?
I don't want to answer that in a room with that many people because that would be me setting a standard and giving financial advice. So I'm going to pivot away from your question just right now because I feel like you're setting me up for failure because this space is recorded too.
No, I can just say what I think.
I'll answer that one.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, that would be an incredibly optimistic scenario, right? Like 100x on something of this size would be the biggest success story probably in crypto in, I don't know, years. Since, so I think that would be a very optimistic scenario. I think a 10x would be very good and very respectable.
See, I live down in real world too with fiat. I really do. I'm not one of those people that is claiming I believe that wholeheartedly. I think 100x personally is a plausible notion. I do 100%. But as I've always
Corey,
conveyed, that
Corey, could you just stop for 1 second? I want to ask a question to Buck. So, Buck, I want to steal. I want to play the devil's advocate to what you were just saying. So you said that 100x would be like an extremely optimistic outcome, but what about like Hex did 1000x? Why can't Pulsechain, that is even better, do 1000x? Why would 100 be a positive outcome? What are
Yeah,
you?
yeah. I mean, this is a
How does math work? How
well.
does math work?
There's this thing called the law of large numbers, and you guys can go Google it. And when you start from like a valuation of like, let's say maybe 10 million, which is probably a rough estimate of where Hex might have been in January 2020, it's a lot easier to do a 10,000x, right? And then
Really?
yes, in my opinion.
Oh,
but I mean, that's
is
just
that how numbers work?
that's how. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much. There's mathematicians that came up with a.
Jesus Christ! Because when I'm trying to say these things, people tell me I'm a fucking maniac.
Well, I don't know, man. Like I tell this to people every day in this community, and
But you know that it's just me and you. You know that it's just me and you that fucking understand these basic ass things.
No, there's plenty of people that understand this. But then the other thing that you have to understand is
they
that
are, but they're not speaking up though. Like they're keeping that as some type of secret because they don't want to be expunged from like the
yeah.
They want to stay popular with people, so they can't say these extremely obvious things.
Yeah, well, I prefer to be right, and I think you're the same.
You guys are like talking as if the market cap's all sitting in a liquidity pool. Like they're thin as crap right now, right? And chucking a 3x is a nothing in the thin ass liquidity pools that you see in front of you because people are trading X amount through it.
Katie, can I be honest with you?
Yeah, Eric.
Look, Katie, I think that you're a fantastic girl. Honestly, I think that you are one of the smartest people in, like one of the smartest girls for sure in the entire blockchain industry.
That's pretty sexist. Sorry.
What?
No, continue. Continue. I was just picking on you. It's fine.
No,
for a girl, Katie, you're really smart, is what you said. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
continue.
No, but that's what I mean, though. That is the exact argument that I want to make. Anyway, Katie,
and I would agree. And I would agree. By the way, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah, but Katie, there are like you're smart. You know a lot about these. You know more about Pulsechain, like some of the internal things that are going on here that I don't pay attention to 24 hours a day. You know more about those stuff than I do. So I'm like impressed. I think of you as someone that can be like relied on in these kinds of scenarios. But you also do say a bunch of like weird, really, really weird stuff. Like when you're completely out there in a number of different subjects, like you have a lot of knowledge, but you also have a bunch of like made up knowledge too that you're sort of throwing in with your general arguments. That like I want to agree with you and I want to be like, yay, Katie, it's fucking awesome. And then it's like, yeah, but sometimes she's just throwing around some arguments that are like, where the fuck did that come from? That doesn't sound like it fits with the rest of the arguments. So is that like your? I feel like I'm going to say something sexist again, so I'm just not going to say it.
But what moves price, Eric?
I mean, you're all over the place. You're colorful, but you're smart. But there's like you don't fit into the same like boundaries and boxes that me and Buck fit into. Like we have pretty boring, there's a framework that we fit into. We understand. We don't go outside of that. But you're more like coloring outside the box and making your own world sometimes. I mean, I think you're great. Honestly, like as a whole, I think you're awesome. But sometimes you just say these wildly like, yeah, you're living in some kind of world where things are just more happy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll take that one as a compliment because I don't like to get consumed by negativity. But I mean, like, there's also facts, Eric. Like, so you can say what you want, but it's still real. How does a meme coin do 100,000x? Well, it starts with extremely thin liquidity and people buying into it. Like, You can say market cap all you want and blah blah blah.
No,
but
it
liquidity
doesn't.
pool.
It doesn't start at a $1 billion valuation. that's the key thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you're looking at a market
Peppercoin
cap
didn't.
again.
Peppercoin didn't start at $1 billion and then go up 1,000x and became worth $1 trillion. That didn't happen with Pepe.
Well, guys,
Okay, so Eric,
there's a point that is not being considered here. So I'm going to play devil's advocate to the devil's advocate. Yes, market cap in many ways is an irrelevant metric, right? Because I could mint a token with a supply of 1 quadrillion, pair one token to $1, and now my market cap is a quadrillion.
Oh no, KG, you're saying one of the most obvious points that people have been making since the dawn
let me
of
finish.
time.
Hey, let me finish. Let me finish.
I can't believe I've ever heard this super genius argument before.
No.
What am I going to think now?
Hey, you haven't heard my argument. Let me finish. You haven't heard my argument. Now, the difference with the one factor with Pulsechain is that it simulates that in a large way because one entity owns 90 to 95% of the supply. So you have a false scarcity mechanic in that the entire market cap isn't based on 90 to 95% of the supply. It's based on 5 to 10% of all tokens in existence. So yes, the market cap is multiplied by 100% of the supply, but the price.
KG. The market cap that we're talking about is based on the sacrifice value, and
I use the word.
We've already excluded Richard Hart's $13 billion extra coins that he put in there. So we've already taken those out when we're saying that it starts at $1 billion, at $1 billion market cap.
Gotcha. Understood. Gotcha.
I use the word valuation intentionally, right? So when Richard says market cap is a vanity metric and all that stuff, it's the work of a financial analyst to take different market caps and try to understand how to make them comparable, right? That's what everybody on Wall Street does every day for a living, right? Because yes, you have to take into account everything in the capital stack, a whole bunch of different factors. But the idea is to try to get a valuation. Now we know roughly $1 billion, if we're rounding up, was raised, right, through the sacrifice. Okay, and that's the thing that matters, right? And that's your starting point. Now, that's all in the past. You can't do anything about it. But I think whatever happens, you're going to have volatility, and you'll have a chance to potentially.
So I'm just going to put out like the most 101 of crypto, right? Just because I'm going to mute your asses because I'm the host. Most simplest thing, right? So $1 billion got sacrificed. Awesome. If you want to say $1 billion market cap, awesome. But you're also speculating that $1 billion is going to sit in liquidity pools, and it's just not. Like ratio trading and people buying and selling, right? And people holding. That's what moves the price. People that buy into a liquidity pool, right? So if you're looking at thin liquidity pools, yes, it can 10x. Extremely easy. Yes, it can do negative 90%, even easier, right? So anybody buying and selling in thin liquidity are going to move the prices. Like you guys are talking about market cap and doing a 10,000x on top of it. What would the market cap be? Like you guys are kind of looking at a cup half full. You're pretending like all of that's going to be in a liquidity pool and people are going to be trading in between $1 billion. Like that would be impossible to move the price. If people are ratio trading in a pool that thick, you are not going to be able to move the price of that token. But if you have extremely thin liquidity, right? So that also comes down to a bunch of PulseX holders, PLS holders. Maybe they don't want to put their tokens up for people to buy. So the liquidity is going to be thin. People moving and trading in between those. Yes, volatility goes both ways, negative too, right? So your market cap argument is skewed because you're not considering the liquidity. Like you can say what you want, right? And Eric can say that, maybe I'm too moon girlish and a little bit, naive and too positive. But reality is liquidity pools are what move the price. Like market cap doesn't move the price. It just doesn't. You guys can continue banter now, but I just wanted to say thin liquidity, thick liquidity, and people providing liquidity. There's more at play.
Yeah. So in the short term, you're right. In the short term, you're right about that.
I'm going to mute you again, Buck, because Karim had his hand up and he was a little bit more politer. Go, Karim. Hello.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for having me. It's kind of funny. I've been, listening for a while now. It's kind of the same nonsense that we heard about when people were criticizing Hex and this and that. And what I'm seeing here, once again, is people ignoring a lot of the facts and a lot of the token economics that make this thing actually move. And if I may, I want to kind of go back earlier, some of the comment that Eric mentioned about the fee burn and then the low fees. He also forgets the fact that Pulse Chain have 10 seconds block. It's 17% faster than Ethereum. Therefore, if you have a right amount of volume, you can have a relatively low fee in terms of transaction, but still have a high burn because it's about the volume that comes in. There is a reason why even back in the day in centralized exchange, they were getting crazy amount of burn, even though their fee were less, just because they also had a lot of volume. So that's something to be considered as well, because you can have relatively low fee with a higher volume and
And what
still
gas limit?
get that
What
burn.
gas limit? What is the gas
Well,
limit
it's
in the
going to be
pulse?
less than Ethereum. You made the false assumption that saying that it's the same thing. It's not. It is faster.
I-
Again, this is math,
I'm,
right?
I'm not.
So that's number.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
Can
if
I
you know
finish?
what a gas limit is. I'm asking
I
you,
know
like,
what.
how many units of gas can you consume in a single block? Is it the same in Ethereum, or is it different in Pulse Chain? Is the
Yeah.
gas limit in Ethereum and the Pulse Chain the same? Does anyone know that?
No,
No,
Yes.
I
as
just
in they're
answered
not the
you.
same, or that you don't know.
I just told you they're not the same.
So the gas limits and Ethereum and in Pulse Chain are not the same. So
To
what's
my
the
knowledge,
difference?
no.
What's the difference?
Again, I told you the main difference is based on your comment when you were saying you cannot have low fee and high burn. And I was just here to correct you, just to remind you that it is possible to have some of those too
Yeah,
if
but
you have higher volume because you have faster block.
you're not answering the question.
Well, no,
There
you're
is
not
a
answering my
there's a
question.
block
You
in
were
Pulse
answering a
Chain,
question with a question.
and there's a block in Pulse Chain, and then there's a block in Ethereum. Can those blocks spend the same amount of gas? That's the question. I'm asking
Yes,
you if the
but the
gas
but the but
limits
the
are the
blocks are
same.
not at the same speed. Yeah, but then that's not the point.
Yeah.
Okay, if you
I'm just
okay, I'm gonna
taking
give you a
them
metaphor. So
one thing
because
at
you,
the same time, right?
okay, I don't let's not get lost in the sauce. Let's do like a basic example because you don't want to confuse the people, right? If a block can feed 10 transaction, okay, and they both have the same capacity of 10 transaction, but one is has 17% more blocks, therefore you can fit more transaction. And my argument was you can have relatively lower fees if you have more block because they're coming faster every
Yeah,
10 seconds
you're
instead of 12.
saying. I know what you're saying. I know what
You
you're
hear
saying.
what I'm
You're
saying?
saying that the fees in Pulsechain are going to be lower because you have 17 times more gas
17%.
per unit of time. Yeah, 17% more gas per unit of time. Do you
Yes.
think that do you think that that's do you seriously think that 17% is going to make a marginal fucking difference in this kind of system, that it's going to change like the gas fees being from $10 or $100? Do you think that 17% actually makes a difference?
Well, first of all, I like to be
Okay, so
factually correct, right?
let's
So
say
you
that it
said
makes a
you made a
proportional.
comment and you said something that was factually inaccurate. So I was just correcting you. That's number one. Number two,
Wait,
fee
what did I
burning
say?
comes.
What did I say that was factually inaccurate?
You said that it was exactly the same. That Pulsing was exactly the same as Ethereum, and I'm here to tell you that it's not. It's 17
Are you talking about
faster.
my thread? Are you talking about my thread? The
No, you
thread that
said
I
that earlier. I was listening. I've been listening for the last 30 minutes with some of the stuff that you were saying. So that's why, and I was just going over a couple points. That's all. Another thing is that specifically to PulseX. So when people
well,
talk about fee burning, they also like it's not just Pulse Chain. They also like PulseX. And because of the buyback and burn, which don't really rely on the transaction fee per se, but just more like the volume that's being transacted on the decentralized exchange to be able to do that buyback and burn, that acts as a big factor as well. because a lot of
What
people
does
don't look
the
at it like that.
buyback and burn of
So
PLSX have to do with the gas fees on Pulsechain?
both of you are actually kind of correct, and you're like kind of arguing and going in circles, but both of you aren't wrong. So Karim is right. Yeah, we're 17% faster than Ethereum, so we can push more transactions through. But Eric is also kind of right in the sense that, there's a thing called a priority fee, and the gas limit is what somebody's willing to pay to have their transaction processed. So users can push up the gas price as much as they want to get priority in the network. So the gas limit
No,
and
of course they can,
17%.
but
Like, so you're both right, but just
yeah, I was
FYI.
no, I was just correcting him on that because ultimately, right, it's like the people standing the network, right? They're gonna do that. And, oops, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Karim.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard some echo. Yeah. So it's like the people earlier, even today, spamming the network. Sooner or later, they can pay the tip all they want, and then eventually they're gonna run out of money. All I was saying was the simple fact that because Pulse Chain is faster, we're gonna be able to achieve.
Dude.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just muting everyone for a second. Please, let's take turns. Talking over each other is not helping anybody follow the conversation. Okay. Please raise your hands. Let's go back and forth between people in an orderly fashion. Let's be respectful to each other. I really appreciate it, guys. Let's unmute again.
Okay, I'm just going to make one point. So Karim here appears to think that if you increase the gas limit in Ethereum by 17%, or if you increase the rate of how fast the blocks are from 12 seconds to 10 seconds, then you're going to have low fees all of a sudden. So let's take this amazing insight, we bring it back to the Ethereum community, and we say, hey guys, why didn't you just think about increasing the gas limit by 17%? Then you would all your fee problems would be solved, because that's what we did
That's not what I
on
said.
So what's your argument?
Again, you answer your question. The question. All I said was because there is faster blocks, we can have more transaction. You said that it was the same as Ethereum, and I'm saying that it's not. And that's all I was correcting you on, because you can have relatively lower fee compared to Ethereum, okay, and a higher burn simply because you're pushing more transaction. We have already proved that. That was the
And how
point.
big do you think the
Nobody's stupid
difference is
enough to
going to
think
be?
that transaction is going to stay low forever. I mean,
Yeah.
if everybody's back 100x, they're not going to be complaining about, hey, I'm paying a little bit more fees, but my bag 100x. Like, what? No. Like, let's just stay on topic. I don't know why you always jumped around. I was just correcting you about
No,
something
I'm just
very, very specific that you can potentially have, and Pulsechain will, and we're going to fact check this years to come. We can have relatively, keyword English, relatively low fee while simultaneously having a high burn. That's what I was talking about.
17% more is not relatively high. It's a marginal difference that isn't going to have any particular consequence to what the fees are going to be. If you increase the block limit of Bitcoin by 17, of Ethereum right now by 17%, it's not going to bring down the fees in Ethereum down from $100 per transaction down to $1 or a cent. It's like an immaterial. It's in an immaterial improvement that doesn't have any consequence to anything at all.
That is not true, because if you're
So how
factoring
big
the auto
do you
token,
think how
then
much do you think it's going to reduce the fees?
I'm just here to tell you that because you're ignoring other token economics that also comes into play. It's not just because of that. It's also based also how Pulse Chain is designed and the fact that it's also deflationary from the get-go. So you can laugh
What
at
the
the
fuck are you
17%,
talking about? What
but
do you mean it's deflationary from the get-go? It's not more deflationary than Ethereum. Its deflationariness depends on how high the fees are. You're simultaneously saying that because Pulse Chain is faster, it's going to have lower fees. But if it has lower fees, then it's going to have less burn. And if it has less burn, then it's less deflationary. You're not making any sense at all. Sorry, Karim.
but because you're half listening. The point is, you said it was the same as Ethereum, and I told you it's not because it's 17% faster
Yeah, but a
because of those that bonus.
17% thing doesn't.
The argument between you two is like kind of getting old because, again, like you're both right, Karim. Yes, 17% faster, but Eric is also correct because, again, gas comes down to what somebody's willing to pay for priority for their transaction to go through. So, yes, gas on Pulsechain can end up being identical to Ethereum, right? But the thing that we have is there's less market participants, right? It's cheaper over on Pulsechain right now, right? But long term, yes, Eric is correct. It can end up being the same. Bullish, you have your hand up. I'm not going to lie. I've been in this space for a little while. I'm getting a little tired, so if somebody else wants to throw up a space, they are most welcome to. I'm just going to let Bullish throw up his hand and answer, like ask a question. But I'm just going to run back through what people are saying on Pulsechain right now because they're stressing out, right, to relieve everybody's tension again because I can't answer 1,000 DMs. Like I can't. I'm sorry. Okay, so Bullish, if you want to go before I run back through the things that everybody's major concerns are about right now.
No, I was just, you pretty much beat me to it. I was just gonna say, we just should agree to disagree because it's not really being productive. The space was opened up to try to answer some questions, and we're trying to get away from that point. So yeah, you pretty much hit it right on the nail. But I appreciate everyone coming up, having this, positive discourse, being respectful. But let's just agree to disagree because we're trying to get some answers question, and KDP's a little tired. So if no one has questions, I guess we're gonna be wrapping it up. So.
Well, to be fair, like Eric's brought some points through that haven't been completely incorrect, right? And he actually started off bullish, which is one thing that everybody else needs to remember as well. He's literally saying that our community shouldn't be bickering if somebody's paying 1,000 Pulse to transact because they're burning it. Yeah, so it's good things. We want to see this thing happen, right? We want to see volume on Pulsechain. It's like great sign showing you that Pulsechain is successful. Pulse is being burnt. We are inflationary, and the only way that we are net deflationary is to have high transactional volume. Yeah, people paying gas fees. That's what makes us net deflationary. So Eric is
No,
correct.
Katie.
Karim is.
No, because we have 17% faster blocks. The fees shouldn't be high.
Eric. KG, I know you had your hand up.
Nope, all good. If you're trying to end the space, I will say nothing for now. Thank you for the space. Thank you everyone for showing up.
Thank you for that respect, Eric. KG. So, look, guys, you're going to be waiting some time for transactions to go through on Pulse Ramp, okay? Pulsechain's bridge. If you are looking at Pulsechain's bridge right now and you have a sending transaction, that means that your transaction is being processed by the bridging platform. It has custody of your assets currently, and it will mint you a representation on Pulsechain soon, okay? Where it says receiving transaction. When you have a receiving transaction hash there, that means that you have got your copy on Pulsechain. If you see the claim button, claim does not mean that you go there to need to claim your assets, right? The bridging platform will mint you a representation on the other side in the wallet that you're transacting with. You just need to give it time and the nodes in the bridge itself to validate the transactions. But also, remember, you are not freaking out and because you're missing out on massive opportunities. The liquidity isn't on Pulsechain yet, okay? So if you look at Dex Screener, for instance, that is supporting Pulsechain right now, the liquidity pools are extremely thin. Volatility goes both ways, right? Downside and upside on thin liquidity. So be careful what you're doing in those pools. Don't go FOMOing because the bridge finally finalizes your transaction on Pulsechain and go FOMOing into thin liquidity pools because you will get wrecked, okay? Be wise on what you're doing. Be careful what you're doing. Check liquidity. Check your price impact. If it's too high, maybe consider don't making the trade, okay? Watch people like Eric Wall because he might sell into a thin liquidity pool and make you a great opportunity to buy in. Yeah, so if it falls below SAC, that might be a great time to put a very small amount of money into a really thin liquidity pool because you got a good deal, right? But a small amount of money, not your whole bag, a small amount. And be patient. Cross-chain bridges, it's standard. Yeah, I've waited a day before for a cross-chain bridge to give me my assets on the other side. Do not freak out. It's going to get processed through. There is nodes in the bridging platform running the transactions. So everybody have a great day. If anybody else wants to throw up a space and answer questions, go for it. But I am a little over the questions, to be honest. So everybody have a great day. I'm more than happy to jump in spaces tomorrow and answer more questions, especially around the bridging platform, because I know there's a lot of people getting stressed. Okay, you haven't lost your money. It's there. You're just waiting for the transaction to be relayed on Pulsechain. So relax, guys, and I'll see you all soon.
Guys, make sure to follow KDP for all she does.